Hi there, Dawn McVey here with Paper Tray Ink. Today we're going to talk about using some of Paper Tray's dies to create a fun little border for your card or scrapbook page using various sizes and shapes of flags.
Okay, so let's get started. Using flags to create a banner across, or sort of a border across your card, has kind of become a popular thing to do, even on scrapbook layouts. You see this sort of technique done a lot. I made this card a couple of releases back for Paper Tray and used basically the same principle as what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to pull this sort of a look together. So to get started, I've got some, well, first of all, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. This is a bit of Hawaiian Shores cardstock, and I've got a sentiment here, a birthday sentiment from the Cutting Garden stamp set. I'm going to ink that up and stamp off to the right here. Just wipe that off with a wet wipe, and then I just stamp it off on some scratch paper to make sure any residue from the stamp is off. That way the stamp is clean and ready to go right back into its case. So the next thing I want to do, just because I need to let this dry for a second, is this is a standard A2 sized card that I've gone ahead and cut and scored. This is rustic cream cardstock, and I've got a little bit of Mr. Huey spray mist here in mixtape. This is from their little neon collection they did a while back. And I want to add just some splatters right here to the bottom corner. That's probably about good. Let's see if I can get one more on the cardstock. There we go. This mat I'm stamping on is super easy to just wipe clean. I'm going to dry it off. And we're ready to go. So I'll set that aside. That'll just dry while we're doing the rest of our assembly here. So the reason I wanted to do this particular color combo is because I was thinking about the Green Boutique pattern paper collection. I don't know if you guys remember this one. It's been around for quite a while, and I love these colors. So I knew I wanted to pull out a couple of these polka dotted patterns from that collection, and then I just sort of built everything around those colors. I've also pulled out some Hawaiian Shores papers from the pattern pack, and I've got some Dottie Biscotti in the turquoise, that Hawaiian Shores color, and I've gone ahead and die cut various flag shapes. That's a cool thing about Paper Tray's dies is there are quite a few now that give you that sort of pointed bottom look that I'm after for today's technique. So I used the tag sale number 5 die to cut out one tag. I've used the double-ended banners on a couple of these. The ones that you can see are obviously double-ended. And then these other guys, I used some of the dies here in the Sketched Shapes collection. There's 3 that do the little banner shapes for the flags, and all of those will work for what I want to put together today. So I know I want this big guy to be kind of off to the right a little bit, so that's where I'm going to start, and then I'm just going to lay everything out around this one tag, and I'm just going to kind of lay everything in a row. What I'm paying attention to is the bottom edge. Where does everything end up at the bottom edge? That's all I'm looking at right now, because the top is essentially going to get covered up. So I don't want everything to be in a perfectly straight row, and I don't want all the flags to be hanging straight up and down either. I kind of want them to be, you know, tipped back and forth here and there. So I'm just going to kind of move things around until I get what I feel like is kind of the look I'm after. I think I'm going to put this one in here. And again, I don't want, I've got some die cuts here that are the same colored paper, but I don't want any two of the same papers to be right next to each other. So I'm kind of alternating in that regard too. Again, I'm just playing with it till I get it kind of how I think I might like it. Oops. Now, when I look at this, these two are on the top. They're the same, these two that are the same shape are on the top, and they're both kind of pointing the same direction. So to me, that says this one needs to go the other way to sort of break that up a little bit. Because I want it to be sort of wind blown. They're supposed to be flags after all. Just sort of blowing in the breeze. There's no real, there are no rules here. You just sort of put them however you would like them. And see, so when I cover this up, you can see what the bottom is going to look like here because all of that's going to go away. That being said, I just want to scooch that side in a little bit, and I think we're good. So the next thing I'm going to do is just take some adhesive and run it all along the back of this strip of cardstock. And I want to go ahead and do both rows. It looks like a lot of adhesive, but I want to make sure I catch each of these flags wherever I can to hold them in place. So the next thing I'm going to do is just, I want to pull this one up a little. Just line this up over the top of the flags and then just lay it right down on top. And when you press down, voila, you've got your whole little banner already in place. So now all you have to do is grab some paper snips and just trim off the tops. It's really easy. And you'll notice on the first card I showed you, along that strip of cardstock, I stitched 2 rows across. You can stitch, you can add glitter, you know, with the strip of score tape or regular adhesive. Obviously on this one I put the sentiment over the top, whereas this one I stamped a sentiment right on that strip. There's, you can do all sorts of different things with that strip, but it's a really fast and easy way to put this little banner border together. So the next thing I want to do is add a little bit of decoration across the top edge. So I've got a piece of rustic cream cardstock here that I've die cut with a heart border die. I love using the heart border die because the scallops on that top edge, if you cover the bottom up, you get a perfect little scalloped edge, and the scallops are nice tight little scallops that I really like the size, the scale of those little scallops. So I'm just going to lay that right on the hearts, and again trim up the sides. And then I've got one more piece of pattern paper, again from the Green Boutique collection. I want to add to the back. It's a lot of adhesive and a lot of layers here, but you want it all to be held together really well. So I'm going to scooch this over to this bottom edge so it makes it easy to line up. And I only have to trim off the one side. Now you can see when we adhere this to the card, a little bit of those dots. I'm glad I added those last little dots because they are going to show now. And there wouldn't have been quite so much to show before. So I'm going to adhere this to the front of the card with a bit of foam adhesive. I just kind of want it to pop out from the card. You don't have to do this if you don't want, but I like the added bit of dimension when I can get it. So we'll add this right to the front of the card. I'm going to make sure it's nice and straight. And then I'm going to fluff the flags forward a little bit. Again, they don't have to be perfect, just sort of so they pop a little bit. And then lastly, I've got some little gemstones here. These are from Studio Calico. I want to add a couple of these to this big flag, just for a finishing touch. And there you have it. Really fun little card with a flag border.
I hope you've enjoyed today's little flag border tutorial. If you'd like to play along with this week's challenge, be sure to head over to Nicole Hetty's blog where you can leave the link to your project so we can all see what you came up with. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. This has been Dawn McVey with Make It Monday.